Stelk. So the first thing to get is all of the ingredients, which you will well know is, of course... Alright, fine, I'll offer some context. So somewhere in the background of this YouTube channel, I've been doing a series of going through this crazy old recipe book, which is just someone going round and collecting fun recipes from farmers' wives in the 50s, and picking out all of the recipes that are from my home county of Gloucestershire. Recently, I spotted what claims to be an Irish recipe, but is by a Mrs. M. Cheshire from Gloucestershire, and it's called Stelk. So Mrs. Cheshire has been one of the least helpful people I've seen in this recipe book, and the ingredients are listed as such. A dozen of the later spring onions, those which are almost too coarse to use otherwise are best for this dish. Then the next recipes are literally potatoes and milk. I suspect Mrs. Cheshire and I are going to struggle with each other. But that does mean I now need to get on with getting the ingredients. Okay, I have the exact and specific amount of spring onions. These call themselves salad onions, but I googled it and the images look the same, so I'm assuming it's fine. And then I have potatoes and milk. And if it turns out that I don't have enough of either of these because the recipe's too vague, Mrs. Cheshire and I can have words. I mean, we're not, because this was in the 50s, so I'd be staggered if she's still alive. But, you know, ideologically, you know? So, chop the onions into small lengths. Small lengths? Oh, I've remembered earlier this time. This is such an inefficient way of cutting these things. It's really annoying. But it says lengths, so I'm going to do it like this. I'm supposed to wash these. Fine. Those other ones look fine, but this one I'll wash. And this is where me not being a very experienced cook means that my eyes are ruined. My onions. I do it infrequently enough. It's always agonising. Oh. Right, I need to simmer these in milk. Oh, not my eyes, the onions. Oh, you're not allowed to look at the oven until I've washed it. Editor Mark here, just interrupting the video to let you know that I am actually a musician, and therefore I've got a single coming out soon. Now, I don't want to age this video by giving a specific name, because I want to consistently have music coming out, but I do have a song coming out soon, actually, as you're watching this. So go and check on my social medias, and check out on all of the streaming platforms, because it should be up there very soon. Back to the video. I now need to simmer the onions in milk. It doesn't say for how long, so I will just assume that I simmer them in milk until it tells me to do something else with them. We're about to run out of batteries, no? I wonder how much I need to put in there. It's enough, presumably. It'll say something like a good amount, something really unhelpful. Oh no, it doesn't even say that, does it? It just says simmer in milk. As much milk as your heart desires. My heart desires exactly that much. Great. Now this is where the recipe gets really helpful. Meanwhile, boil or steam a good dish of potatoes. Cool. Well, I'll get a good dish, I suppose. So what I thought I would do is maybe break away from the recipe a little bit, because while I wouldn't necessarily describe this as good, I'd describe this as fine, and I think that's a close enough variation to the original recipe that we should be okay. It doesn't say to peel or anything, it just says boil or steam. Right, potatoes. Now in a thing. Oh, and I take it back. I need to offer an apology to Mrs. Cheshire. She says how long I need to simmer the onions for, and it's until they're tender. I think they're already ready, to be honest. So why did it tell me to start cooking them before putting the potatoes on when the potatoes take 20 minutes? Why would I... What? Okay. We boil. It's been an hour and the potatoes ain't ready. So, no, it hasn't been an hour, crikey. It's been 20 minutes and the potatoes ain't ready. So, I'm gonna give it another turn. That is all. It's odd this, it's been long enough now. It's been 30, 35 minutes or something. I know they're big potatoes, but I'm also reasonably impatient, it turns out. I need a bowl. There's a bowl. Right. Ooh, it smells like cooked potato, which is probably not a good sign. Oh my word, there wasn't very much water in there anymore. Right. Then I mash them with a bit of milk. I even washed the masher, because I clearly hasn't been used in a while. And how much milk though, Mrs. Cheshire? Mrs. M. Cheshire, how much? Well,
With a little milk, apparently. A little milk.
well, I'll add a little milk then. Is that a little milk? I'll add that much milk. That seems like a little milk to me. Oh, these weren't ready at all. Oh, were they? Probably not. Oh, no, not at all. If I hack them about a bit. I thought I would get one up on Mrs. Cheshire by, when she doesn't give enough information, not doing the steps that you obviously do when mashing potato. I don't think I've had the last laugh here. Thinking about it, I'm not entirely sure what I was expecting. Right, now I've got some, in fairness, reasonably nice, quite rustic mashed potato. Strain onions and add these to the potatoes, mixing well. What? Okay, yeah. I sort of want to keep milking it. But no, I will trust the process. Trust the process. When we add this, mix this in. Add this to the potatoes, mixing well. Let's clear that off. I then serve this very hot. Like, this is the whole recipe. As a sort of rustic mashed potato goes, it looks quite nice. But it is just mashed potato with some onions in it. Like, it's not this, which means I just have to serve it up and eat it. Right, so let's try some Stelk, which is mashed potato. Hey, Mrs. Cheshire, this is mashed potato. I feel conned. I thought I was going to have like a traditional recipe. I thought I was going to have something interesting and different. I don't know why I thought I was going to have something interesting and different, but I did. But you, Mrs. Cheshire, you have some answering to do. This is just mashed potato. Oh, wait a minute. There's another thing. She's done the final thing that always winds me up in these recipes. When they give you the ingredients, and then they go halfway through a recipe, and then at the end they go, oh, add some of this other ingredient is how you're supposed to have it. And you think, why isn't that in the ingredients? Because just in case you didn't realise that this is just mashed potato, it turns out that when they were having this, the correct Irish way is to add a large piece of fresh butter to each plate of Stelk after serving. Because you a large knob of butter, eh? A large piece of fresh butter. Well, I ain't got fresh butter. This is central London, to be silly. How am I supposed to get fresh butter from anywhere? Well, there's a large piece of butter. Do I mash it in? You're not going to explain that level of detail. Yes. Yes, it's mashed potato. It's a perfectly pleasant example of mashed potato. I have certainly had worse mashed potato. As mashed potato, I have nothing against it. But Mrs. Cheshire, this is mashed potato. Calling it Stelk, making it sound like you're the talk of the town to all of your country wife friends by making out that this is some ancient Irish thing, when firstly it's potato, and secondly it's mashed potato. You, Mrs. Cheshire, are simply trying to get more notoriety from your friends, from your fun and interesting foreign stuff, aren't you? It's a point scoring thing. I feel cheated. Cheated, Mrs. Cheshire. It's nice though. And if you feel as conned as I do by what Mrs. Cheshire has just forced us all to witness, then do like and subscribe, hit all of the notification stuff, follow me on all of the different social medias. Why not check out my Patreon or support me in any way you'd like. Hopefully by now I've got round to updating all of the different bits of merch and whatnot that you can get from Patreon. I've got all sorts of stuff. I'm much too busy at the moment, so check out all of the stuff I'm doing. I'm going to run in a minute. I'm too busy chowing down on mashed potato. It's not going to help. Quite nice, eh?